Hey community, welcome back and happy new year. And for all of you who's your first time here, welcome. I am Dr. Blaire, a doc in clinical psychology, and on this channel we discuss psychology, inspiration, social justice, and all topics in between. First things first, hit that subscribe and bell button. I want to see you back next week. And of course, stay tuned because we're going to talk about the mindset that is needed as we are in this goal setting season. Keep watching. All right, before we jump into it, did I say Happy New Year? Well, Happy New Year to you and yours. And as you all already know, the new year often brings conversations that sound a little bit like new me, new year. Oh, I'm setting new goals. I'm about to set, things straight for 2023. Oh, that was the old me. I'm not doing that anymore. This is what I'm doing now moving forward. And somehow, many of us, as we're setting these new year resolutions, end up in the same patterns or similar patterns as before. With all that being said, we've got to break the pattern and address it, as you know. Now, let me just pause and say, if I sound a little hoarse, you could probably know if I sound a little hoarse, just to let you know, I really enjoyed New Year Eve and coming into the new year. So I'm just kind of still recuperating and getting myself together. But with all of that being said, I hope that you enjoy your new year, bringing it in and transitioning into the new year just as much as me. So forgive me if I sound a little different than usual, but bear with me as we talk about some really important stuff, because I need us to not do the same thing that we did way back when or even last year, but to do something different. Now, these tips and important points that I'm going to be going over, as you'll see me glancing down at my notes, they may not be new for you, but it may be something that you need to think about in this current time while you're thinking about what you're going to be doing for the next year. Maybe you're not even thinking about the next year. Maybe you're thinking about what you're going to do for the first 6 months or first half of the year, or even for the first 90 days of this year. Whichever it is, these are some key points and strategy tips that are needed as it gravely impacts our mindset, because that's honestly the first place we need to stop by, is what are we going to do with our mindset to shift and transition into something different, so that we see some change, we see some influence, we see a greater impact in our lives. So speaking of transition, we have to transform our mind to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish in 2023. And some of you may be wondering, well, how am I supposed to do that? How am I to transform my mind? Look at what you've done before. Have those same behaviors, those same rituals, those same traditionals, have those same traditions been helpful for you or as effective for you in the past? And if the answer is no, or the answer is maybe, then the answer is no. Then it's time for you to reevaluate what you have been doing and say, hey, I can no longer do those things and expect different results. I have to do something different in order to yield different results. So we work on transforming our mind to accomplish goals in 2023. And a lot of people during this time, they come up with new goals. And I stay away from new year resolution, that terminology, for a lot of reasons. So instead I'll be saying goals. A lot of people set new goals for the 2023 year. That's great. That's fine. But as you're setting your goals, think about them as long-term and short-term. Why? Long-term is where I ultimately need to be, but that short term, there's smaller chunks. It makes it a lot more manageable in order for you to matriculate and work toward your long-term goal. Now, I want to just say this, and I mean this with love. If you have not accomplished your old goals, then I want you to refrain from moving towards new goals, and instead look at that old list. Look at the list from 2020 if it wasn't accomplished. Look at the list from 2019. And some folks might even say they need to look at a list from the 2000s. This is no shame. I'm not throwing shade. I want you to instead ask yourself the hard question: why haven't those goals been accomplished? And if they have not been accomplished for valid reasons, do you need to revisit them? If they are not accomplished because your desires have changed, because something else has shifted, which I'll talk about next week, we'll get into that then. Then that's another reason as to why you may debunk or, take something off your list. But if you have old goals, old assignments that have not been addressed, then you need to address that first before adding something new to the list. Because sometimes those new lists that come out are new distractions that you end up giving yourself. I know a lot of us like to say, oh, I was distracted by this external thing, and that external thing, and this person, and this place, and my job. Okay, no more excuses. No more excuses. You weren't distracted. You may have instead distracted yourself with new things because you didn't want to accomplish the old thing. I'm just saying, it just might be the case. And if that is for you, go back to that old list. Go back to those goals that they're actually not old. Just cross out the word old and put current, because that's what you're going to be working on. But if you are someone who says, you know what, I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish, I completed my assignments, I am walking in my purpose, now these are the things that I need to do for this season, for this time, for this year. Awesome. Move forward, break it up in long-term and short-term goals, and bite it off in chunks as you continue to move forward. Next, after you are, really evaluating those abandoned goals and you're resurrecting them, I want you to remember this is very simple. Try again. You have to tell yourself over and over again, try again. For things that you feel like you have failed before, try again. For things that you feel like you have left behind and, it's too late, try again. Try again. It is okay to try again. There is no shame in trying again. It's actually our own expectations and societal expectations that we put on ourselves that make it more difficult or a larger challenge for us to try again. But if you give yourself that permission to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to try again. Try again. There's power in trying again. Hey, I like that right there. That's a whole nother video of just trying again, even for myself. Sometimes I have to tell me to just try again, even when it didn't work. When we were kids and we were learning to ride a bike and you fall off, I know I fell off my bike. I scratched up my legs and stuff and all that stuff. They healed now, thank you, Lord. But when we were learning, we had the training wheels, and eventually the training wheels had to come off and people would help us along the way, and then we had to learn how to do it ourselves. But sometimes we will fall off that bike. And instead, after we had our temper tantrum, that adult that was there monitoring us likely said, get up and try it again. That same message that you got as a young child, you can use to this very day. Turn around in the mirror and look at yourself and look at that goal that's right there in front of you, whether it is an abandoned one that you're resurrecting or a new one that is there, current, present, whatever you want to put in front of it. If it is a goal and you have abandoned it, try again. I'm going to leave it there. Go ahead, try it again. Next, I want you to evaluate your goal list. And this is really where you have an opportunity to prioritize how you are placing your goals. Excuse me. What do I mean by that? I mean that as you are prioritizing your goals, you actually have a goal that's connected to another one. In other words, it's a prerequisite. I need to accomplish this goal in order to get here. That priority list, that evaluation of what your goals are is really going to help you in your accomplishment and your planning for accomplishing your goals in the entire process. It may help it to be a lot smoother, but it also allows for you to be in a place where you are positioned to or work on your goals, to sought after your goals in a ordered and uniformed manner versus being every witcher everywhere. And you probably know someone, maybe you have had a moment in your life where you've been just kind of seem like you're all over the place, like you want to do a lot of things, you have a desire and a heart to do a lot of different things, but you're moving in a lot of different areas, but you're not actually moving closer toward where you ultimately need to be. There's movement, but not toward where you need to go. That a lot of times is not only a reflection of a lack of a plan, but a lack of prioritization in your life. Just because you have a long-term goal to get to point B doesn't mean that there aren't some places in between A and B that you have to go to first. Prioritize and evaluate what goal needs to go where and when. This will help you to be focused. This will help you to stay on target. And also, it'll help you to not only to stay focused, but so that you don't drift too far away from your target goal. And lastly, remember, why are you going after this goal? And that's going back to that driving force that I talked about last year. I'll put that reference video somewhere in here or at the end of the video for you to go back and take a look. But you have to remember, what is your driving force? What is the thing that actually helps you to continue to go, that helps you to want to accomplish that goal? Because let's be honest, at the beginning, it is often very exciting. Some people may even consider it to be easy at the beginning. But when you get down into the rut of that thing, when you're deep into the process of accomplishing a target goal, it becomes a lot more challenging. More barriers start to show itself. The details start to erect on out. And now you have all of this stuff in between you, all of these trees in the way that makes it a lot more difficult for you to be able to recognize the entire forest. At the beginning, you may see the entire picture. That may not always be the case while you're in the process of it. And so remembering why you're doing this, what makes this important, what is the purpose, what is my driving force, that helps you to be, again, go back to that first point that I made around being focused. It all ties back into one another. So you need to know, why are you doing this? Why? And so lastly, I want you to recognize that as you are transforming your mindset around accomplishing goals, as you are evaluating and prioritizing your goals, even recognizing the long-term and the short-term goals, even pulling out those abandoned goals and trying again. In all of that, the commonality, the common denominator here is that there is a seek, an SEEK in it, and there is power in your seek. I'm going to say it again. The common denominator is your seek in this, SEEK. And as you are seeking and as you're recognizing that there is power in your seek, the key ingredient that you need there is for you to continue to seek in the entire process. Seeking is powerful. Seeking is your empowerment. All right, y'all, I pray that this has blessed you and that it has helped you to at least start thinking about where to start and what you need to do next in this entire process. As I mentioned, we're going to continue this conversation for next week because we cannot talk about all of what is needed around these goals in 1 week or in one second. I know this video is not entirely long, but I also shared with you all last year, and I'm going to share it again. There's still a little time for you to jump on and register. There is limited seating, so join me for the Wellness Workshop 101 for you to start your 2023 well. And in this, you will actually be able to spend some time with myself as a facilitator, helping and supporting you, and also guiding you all throughout a process to acknowledge and come in contact with what exactly is your coping history like, and what are things that you can be doing to move forward in a different manner so that you can maintain your wellness in 2023. And this also, is pulling on a lot of skills that we even talked about today. And if you want to join, there's the information down there at the bottom of the screen, but also in the description box. I'd love to see you there. Now, of course, if you are busy on January 14th when it's going to be held, no worries. There are more workshops that's going to be held online and or even in person for those of you that might be in my area, or if I'm coming to an area near you. But nonetheless, there are more opportunities that would arise. You just have to make sure you stay connected with me so that you know when it's going to be. So if you have not already subscribed to this channel and or that you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Clubhouse, same name across all platforms at Dr. Blaire. Again, the information is right there at the bottom of the screen, and also in the description box below. Go ahead, stay connected, give me a follow. I love to connect with you beyond this interaction here, and you will be able to see more information about future events and other tips and information that will be helpful for you on your journey of not only maintaining wellness, not only being inspired, and not only making sure that you are doing something in your community to see justice on this day, but it's an opportunity for us to get to know one another. Nonetheless, I hope to see you there and to make sure that you're connecting in another platform. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your community, and be sure to share with someone specific who may also be going over their goals for this year. And remember, before you go, and I see you next time, if I'm great and you're great, then we're a great community.